In the quiet corners of our digital age, a silent destroyer lurks, threatening the very foundation of countless relationships. Its name? Porn addiction. This pervasive issue, often shrouded in shame and secrecy, has the power to erode intimacy, shatter trust, and leave a trail of emotional devastation in its wake. It is a complex problem, one that demands our attention and understanding. We live in a world saturated with sexual imagery. Access to explicit content has never been easier. While responsible engagement with pornography may not pose a threat, addiction crosses a critical line. It becomes a compulsion, a force that drives a wedge between partners, fueling discord and dissatisfaction. The purpose of this exploration is not to demonize or judge. It is to shed light on a sensitive topic, to offer insight into the insidious ways porn addiction can unravel the fabric of a relationship. By understanding its impact, we can begin to address the problem, fostering healing and restoring connection in its place. This is a journey into the heart of a complex issue, one that requires empathy, honesty, and a commitment to restoring intimacy. It is a conversation we must engage in for the sake of our relationships and our own emotional well-being. The digital age has blurred many lines, and the line between casual viewing of pornography and addiction is no exception. It's a spectrum, not a switch. On one end, we have occasional viewing, perhaps driven by curiosity or a desire for sexual exploration. This, in itself, does not necessarily spell trouble for a relationship. However, problems arise when viewing becomes compulsive, an insatiable need that begins to dominate thoughts and behaviors. This is the slippery slope towards addiction. When pornography consumption begins to feel uncontrollable, when it takes precedence over real-life relationships and responsibilities, alarm bells should be ringing. Addiction manifests in many ways. An individual might find themselves spending excessive amounts of time watching pornography, even at the expense of work, sleep, or social engagements. They may seek out increasingly extreme or niche content to satisfy their cravings, constantly chasing a more intense high. Perhaps the most telling sign of addiction is the inability to stop, even when there's a desire to do so. Guilt, shame, and remorse often follow, creating a vicious cycle of secrecy and avoidance. This is the point where pornography transcends mere entertainment and becomes a destructive force in a person's life and their relationships. One of the most insidious ways porn addiction impacts relationships is by distorting expectations of sex and intimacy. Pornography, by its very nature, presents a fantasy world, a carefully curated illusion of perfectly sculpted bodies and flawlessly choreographed encounters. When consumed compulsively, this manufactured reality begins to seep into the psyche, blurring the lines between fantasy and real-life expectations. Partners, no matter how loving or attractive, may find themselves held up against these unattainable standards, leading to feelings of inadequacy and disappointment. Intimacy, in its truest sense, is about vulnerability, connection, and shared emotional experience. Pornography, however, often portrays a transactional and objectified view of sex, devoid of the emotional nuances that make intimacy so profound. This can lead to a disconnect between partners, where one person is seeking a scripted performance while the other craves genuine emotional connection. The danger lies in allowing these distorted expectations to permeate the relationship. Open communication, a willingness to address the issue head-on, and a commitment to cultivating realistic and healthy expectations are crucial to counteracting this harmful influence. Section 4. Eroding self-worth. The cycle of shame and inadequacy. The insidious grip of porn addiction doesn't just impact relationships externally, it also chips away at the very core of an individual's self-worth, trapping them in a vicious cycle of shame and inadequacy. The more someone engages in compulsive viewing, the more likely they are to experience feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. This internal struggle can manifest as lowered self-esteem, a diminished sense of self-worth, and a belief that they are somehow broken or inadequate. This negative self-perception can then bleed into other aspects of life, including relationships, work, and social interactions. The shame associated with porn addiction often leads to secrecy and avoidance, making it difficult for individuals to seek help or confide in loved ones. This isolation only exacerbates the problem, fueling feelings of loneliness and despair. Breaking free from this cycle requires courage, compassion, and a willingness to confront the issue head-on. Seeking professional help, joining support groups, and engaging in open and honest conversations with loved ones are all crucial steps towards healing and self-acceptance. Section 5. Worlds apart. Emotional disconnection and intimacy. At the heart of any thriving relationship lies a deep and abiding emotional connection. Porn addiction, however, has the insidious ability to erode this vital bond, leaving partners feeling isolated, misunderstood, and emotionally starved. When one partner is consumed by their addiction, they may withdraw emotionally, becoming less present and engaged in the relationship. Their attention is diverted, their energy depleted, leaving their partner feeling neglected and unimportant. This emotional absence creates a chasm between them, making it difficult to connect on a meaningful level. Intimacy thrives on vulnerability, on the willingness to share our deepest selves with another. Yet, the shame and secrecy surrounding porn addiction often prevent individuals from being truly open and honest with their partners. This lack of transparency erodes trust, creating a wall of silence that can be difficult to dismantle. The emotional disconnection fostered by porn addiction can have a profound impact on the overall health and happiness of a relationship. It's essential for couples to prioritize emotional intimacy, to create a safe and non-judgmental space for open communication, and to actively nurture the emotional bond that holds them together. Section 6. The Wall of Silence. Communication breakdown in relationships. Communication is the lifeblood of any healthy relationship, the bridge that connects two individuals, allowing them to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Porn addiction, however, often thrives in the shadows, erecting a wall of silence that can be incredibly difficult to penetrate. The shame and secrecy surrounding addiction can make it incredibly challenging for individuals to confide in their partners. Fear of judgment, rejection, or anger can lead to avoidance, denial, and a reluctance to address the issue head-on. This lack of transparency creates an environment of mistrust, making it difficult for partners to feel safe and secure in the relationship. Even when attempts at communication are made, they can be fraught with difficulty. The addicted partner may struggle to articulate their feelings, while the other partner may feel hurt, betrayed, and unsure how to process their emotions. This can lead to misunderstandings, arguments, and a further breakdown in communication. Breaking down this wall of silence requires courage, compassion, and a commitment to open and honest dialogue. Creating a safe and non-judgmental space for communication, seeking professional guidance, and practicing active listening skills are all crucial steps towards rebuilding trust and restoring connection. Section 7. The performance pressure, anxiety, and sexual dissatisfaction. The impact of porn addiction extends beyond emotional intimacy, often casting a long shadow over a couple's sexual relationship. The distorted expectations and unrealistic scenarios portrayed in pornography can create immense pressure to perform, leading to anxiety, self-doubt, and a decline in sexual satisfaction. Individuals struggling with addiction may find themselves comparing their real-life experiences to the idealized and often unattainable standards set by pornography. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, self-consciousness, and a fear of not measuring up in the bedroom. The anxiety surrounding sexual performance can create a vicious cycle. The more pressure an individual feels, the more likely they are to experience performance issues, which in turn can exacerbate their anxiety and further fuel their reliance on pornography as a coping mechanism. Addressing this complex issue requires a multifaceted approach. Open and honest communication between partners is essential, creating a safe space to express fears, insecurities, and expectations. Seeking professional help from a therapist specializing in sex therapy can provide valuable tools and strategies for managing anxiety, improving communication, and rediscovering sexual intimacy.